work that we've been doing for clients at Soil Connect. So while I've been jumping on some calls and doing some growth strategies, one of the things that people are always asking is like, do you have an example of the work that you're doing? And while I believe that marketing is bespoke and unique and it's not a one size fits all, I guess that's kind of why I don't really have a portfolio, because the solution that someone's trying to solve is different from one case to another. However, I think this has sparked an interest in me to create a little bit of like what I'm calling a case study series, where I go through some of the client work that we've done and tell a story about what was the problem, what was the person trying to solve, and how we kind of went about doing that. So Regen Farming, Luke came to me and saw that I was kind of doing marketing and wanted someone to help with their social media marketing campaign. So social media management is basically getting someone else to create the posts that then go onto your website, on your social platforms. And so the ability of having posts continually put onto your different platforms is a way of letting people know that you're here, you're relevant, and maybe some of the different call to actions that people can do. So when Luke first came to us, his website didn't look like this. So we did a reskin. So one of the case studies you would have seen if you've been following this series is the Kamala Regen. So you can go check out that video. That was a blank canvas. We started everything from the ground up. With this particular one here, Luke already had a website. And so there's a tool on the internet called the Wayback Machine. And so you can go back and see what websites look like. So this is what the website looked like beforehand. And no problem with the website because it gets the job done. And I just felt that if we were going to be focusing on social media management, I wanted the experience that people were clicking on a social media post to match the experience of when they landed to the website. And so I felt like there wasn't enough call to actions of like, what are the next steps? Where do you go? And how do you find information? And it kind of gave me a bit of a blog, like a blog feel, which is completely fine. Every website is like a child, it grows and evolves and goes through different phases, and websites are very much like that as well. So before we spend too much time actually building social media posts, and I'll show you some examples of that in a minute, I said to Luke, we need to kind of make the website have a better user experience in order to make sure that people had ways of seeing your solutions, easy ways of getting in contact. And so we re-skinned the website. Like, we didn't even rebuild this. It's still on WordPress. It was on WordPress. We basically just applied a new skin. This video was always embedded. The team was always the same. So we didn't really change much of the website. One of the things we did here was just put some social proof in, some testimonials. Is always really good as well, especially if you're running a consulting business. But one of the things that we definitely did to make sure that there was always a way for people to get in contact was, sometimes people are not sure which product to use at the right time on their farm. And that's what Luke definitely solves, that problem in making sure that all these different amendments and stimulants and fertilizers can be added at the right time for your farm needs. And so the call to action we had here was like, not sure which product to use, no problem, email, call, or request a call back. And so with the request a call back form here, one of the things that I'm really big on is how do you get all the information you need before you even jump on the call or before you call that person back. And so the same is if you booked a growth strategy call with me, which the link will be around this video, but a growth call is the first way that you and I get to chat and see whether maybe Soil Connect is a good fit to work together. There's a whole heap of questions that I ask, like the size of your team, what would you change if you had a magic wand? Like, where are you, what's kind of some goals that you're looking to achieve? This is really important information. So that way, before I jump on the call, I can be in the right mindset. And the same with Luke, the size of the farm and the area of the farm really mattered, and like what you're trying to achieve. Are you trying to get more yields? Are you trying to lower your input costs? Are you trying to, stay above water so you can pay the banks, your mortgage? Like, that really changes the strategy that Luke needs to do when he calls you back. So instead of calling blind and not really knowing where the farm is and how big it is and some of the challenges you're facing, the request a call back feature is a really good way of collecting some of the information that's going to help you give a better user experience when you jump on the call. one of the other things that we worked with Luke is just creating this self-assessment guide. So again, the self-assessment guide is a way that you can do some questions, some Q&A, and give yourself a score. And again, this is some of the stuff that Luke would probably ask people on a call, but now when he jumps on the call, he can say, have you done the self-assessment? What score did you get for certain criteria? And so this whole document was designed by us. If it piques your interest, go and opt in and get this guide. We designed, you know, the front cover, all the prompts, created the form to make sure that people can opt in, get the self-assessment, and then get emailed a link of the PDF and things like that. So these are all things that we've created while working with Luke on this. Optimizing the blogs so that way they're better discovered by SEO, recategorizing some of the websites so that way it was easy to kind of go through the different categories and solutions, creating new artwork for, you know, say all these categories, so that way it was very easy for people to go, yep, I'm after animal health, here are all the products that can help me with animal health, making sure the images were kind of consistent and everything was very easy to kind of find and get more information about. So that is you know, the website. But the main thing that Luke was after was social media management. So the way that social media management works is we, in a month in advance, kind of create a placeholder of all the social postings. And then we send that to the client and they approve it, make any changes, tweaks, oh, that photo's horrible, or, you know, the text, you know, isn't really doing it, you know, try and avoid this word and that word. And I think that's one of the things that really, you know, stood out with a lot of the clients that came on board with Soil Connect, is that they were really refreshed that finally there was a marketing group that understood soil and farming and ag, and that you don't, you know, we're not grabbing iStock photos off these websites that, you know, have different countries' style of farming or different use of machinery. So Luke posts himself as well. So not everything that you can see on this feed, like Luke loves having these kind of fun, and that's the whole thing with social media management, is that you don't completely outsource it. You still need to sprinkle your personality and your realness into that as well. But what we do is help create more of these call to action posts and write out the text, you know, keep a monitoring on your event calendar, making sure that we're promoting the right events at the right time, you know, bringing people back to old things. You know, Luke quite has fun with his social media, and this is exactly what I say to people, is that your social media feed, whether it be for business, and Luke is, you know, works with Zoe who's here and they consult together, but the feed should reflect your personality and who you are. It needs to be a real human behind it. And so, you know, I love the fact that Luke has fun with his social media, but then shares, you know, like the yields from his garden, shares photos of his pets and dogs and family life. But then we also have the business talk and, you know, the more graphically designed posts as well. So it's not just always boring business. There's the real element and, you know, the realness. And Luke will make videos like this where he just pulls over on the side of the road and talks about things and posts them up. So that was kind of the social media management, you know, that we kind of helped Luke with as well. And then something that's happened recently is, as the team at Soil Connect has grown, we've realized that, you know, we need to make sure that all the clients that we work with have style guides and brand guides, and that we're all working from the kind of same rule book. And so what we've been doing with a lot of clients now when they come on board is building their brand guides for them as well. So this is an included part of the onboarding. Month one would normally be, you know, doing things like this. And I think it's really important that businesses these days have a brand guide, so that way they can share it with other people, and there is the correct usages of all the logo, and like, not, you know, what not to do with the logo, you know, with things like this and drop shadows and making it 3D and things like that. So, you know, making sure that everyone who works with the brand knows what colors we're using, you know, which fonts and you know, which fonts to be used all the time, and then creating some mock-ups. And Pablo, who has recently joined the team, is really good at, you know, mocking these kind of things up. And I think it's a really cool way of, you know, having clients realize the potential of how good their logo or their brand can look on hats and posters, and things like that. So this is a style guide that we've recently done for Regen Farming, and is definitely something that we are doing for all new clients that are coming on board. This is part of like the month one health check and making sure that we're all on the same page. And so this sits within our cloud storage system. The clients get a copy of this as well. We want you to send this to people to say, sure, build an ad in this magazine, but this is our logo and this is how you use our logo to make sure that everything's always consistent and up to date. So that is a little bit about the journey that we've had with Regen Farming. Every month we do the scheduling a month in advance, make sure that everyone has the ability to approve it, check it off, and then we post on different schedules. So some people have 2 posts a week, some people might have 5 posts a week, but I definitely think a sweet spot is this kind of 2 to 3, and then you sprinkle your own personality into the mix as well. And this goes on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram. So we can send the information to multiple platforms depending on what social media you have. So yeah, hopefully that was a bit of an insight. Maybe some of the things that I shared during this video will pique the interest to say, hi, maybe that's something that Soil Connect can help me and my brand with. So if that is the case, feel free to book a call with me. There will be a growth call to action somewhere. Otherwise, if you go to soilconnect.com.au, which I'll load up on the screen now, then you can find the button somewhere on that website. Of course, it's going to take a while to load because I'm doing a recording, but there will be a way that you can book a call for me as well. So hopefully you're enjoying these series of like what some of the work that we're doing for clients. Sometimes it's blank canvas and we get the full creative license to build everything from the ground up. Other times it is, here's what we've already got, what can you make with the stuff that we have, and what can we improve over time. And that is really what marketing should be about. It's like get something done today and then progressively get better. And that's why like now we're at a point where we build a style guide to make sure that it is a little bit clearer of the team and everyone who is building stuff, to make sure that things are always on brand. The logos here with a white square, it's not needed anymore. Like that, is kind of version 1, and then we're progressing into different versions. But something is better than nothing, and it's very impossible to get everything sorted on day 1 of doing your marketing. So really what we do is we have monthly check-in calls, and we say this month our goal is to get this, and this sorted, and then that's what we focus on that month. And then the following month it might be, so for instance with Luke, which I haven't gone into, is we're now doing some social media paid advertising. So somewhere along the journey we did less posts per month on social media organic, and we moved some of that effort onto doing social media paid advertising. So that way we can drive traffic to the website, get people to opt in, collect their email addresses, start that conversation, request a call back, and then Luke's jumping on the phone and chatting to people and having yarns and building relationships that way. So yeah, on that note, if that has piqued your interest, feel free to reach out. If not, maybe you've enjoyed seeing some of the projects that we've been working on, and this is one of many parts in this series of like our case studies. So I will share. Oh, the other thing that we did for Luke as well that I think was quite good, is one of the things that we realized halfway through doing some work is that he didn't have a map listing. Well, that's not going to work. What we did, it would have been quicker to just type it, is make sure that he had his map listing sorted. So when people are searching for his brand or things of alike, that people can come here and find his phone number, see his normal operation hours, see photos of the business and what keeps Luke busy as he's getting out into the fields and so forth. And so I think map listings and Google My Business is a very low-hanging fruit to get sorted. So these are little things that we can add on the wish list every month to make sure that people able to discover you. You know, it's very common for people now to Google your business name just to get the phone number, and then they click the button. So, you know, having those things in order really, really matters. Okay, I've yarned enough on this one. Enjoy, and feel free to like, subscribe, share, you know, tag people who may benefit from the Soil Connect services. And on that note, I look forward to chatting to you if you feel that we should be working together. Until next time, I'm Regen Ray, and I'll see you on the podcast or any other videos or YouTube.